Everything that you have done so far has led to this moment. You survived the house hunting, the inspections, the nail-biting negotiations, but closing day isn't just a victory lap, it is a high-stakes legal and financial event. If you aren't prepared, it can quickly turn into a stressful afternoon of frantic phone calls. I'm David Karras, and this is the last video in the most extensive home buying series on YouTube. Let's start with the preparation. What you're physically going to bring to the table. Now, most people think they just need to show up, but there are 3 non-negotiables. First is your photo ID. It may sound simple, but it has to be valid. It has to be a government-issued ID, like a driver's license or a passport, something like that. If your license is expired, well, you need a new one or a different ID because it has to be valid. The notary needs it to verify you are who you say you are to prevent title fraud. Now, second is the money. This is the biggest point of confusion. You cannot just write a personal check for your down payment or closing costs unless it's a very low amount. You need to talk to the escrow officer on how you can make your payment if you have any questions about that. Usually they're going to want what they call good funds, which means a wire transfer or a cashier's check. If you're wiring the money, make sure you do it at least 24 to 48 hours in advance. If you're closing on a Monday, make sure you do it on a Thursday so it can catch up. Wire transfers, they're not always instant. They do have to pass through the Federal Reserve and be verified by the receiving bank. So holidays can also add to that. If that money isn't at the title company account in the time that you sit down, you're not going to get the keys. The third item is your closing disclosure, or the CD. You should have received this at least 3 days before closing. Bring your copy so you can compare it to the final documents at the table and make sure that everything works out. If a fee changed or if there's a credit that you negotiated with the seller that's not showing up, you need to catch it before you sign the paperwork. Now, when you arrive at the title office or the attorney's office, depending on which state you live in, you're going to be taken most likely to a conference room. You'll be joined by the closing agent or a notary. Sometimes your real estate agent or even the seller will be there, though many closings are now handled in separate rooms. You are about to sign a mountain of paperwork, and it helps to understand what the big ones actually do. The promissory note, right, it is arguably the most important. This is the legal IOU to the bank. It outlines exactly how much you're borrowing and your interest rate and what happens if you don't pay. Next is the deed of trust, or the mortgage. This is the document that links the loan to the property itself. It basically says if you don't follow the rules in the promissory note, the bank has the right to take the house back through foreclosure. Now, you'll also see the initial escrow statement. This explains how much of your monthly payment is going into a side account for the property taxes and the homeowner's insurance. It's important to review this because if your taxes go up next year, or your insurance goes up next year, so shall your mortgage payment. Now, let's pull back the curtain on the closing versus funding mystery. A lot of people often think that once they sign the last page, they get the keys to the house and then they go leave. And that's not always how it works. Signing the papers is just the closing part. Then you have the funding part, which happens next. After you sign, the closing agent scans all the documents and they send them to the lender's funding department, where a human being will be at from the bank will review every signature and every initial, make sure all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and that nothing was missed. Once they're satisfied, they issue a funding authorization number. Only then does the bank actually wire the hundreds of thousands of dollars to the title company. In some states, this is what they call a table funding process, where everything happens in an hour. In other states, or if you sign late in the afternoon, the funding might not happen until the next business day. If you close late on a Friday, it may not be till Monday that it funds. This is why I always recommend not scheduling your moving truck for the exact hour of your closing. Give yourself a funding buffer. Now, finally, we hit the last step, recording. The title company takes the deed, the document that proves that you own the home, and they send it to the county records office. A lot of counties now are e-recording, but once the county records that transfer, you are legally the owner of that property. Now, closing day is a marathon, and it's normal to feel overwhelmed by the legal jargon. But remember, you have the right to read every single page. Don't let anyone rush you. But if you do want to read every page, have your lender send it to you the night before. Now, if you do like to look at the numbers and you see something that's wrong or a paragraph that's confusing, have the agent explain it in plain English. This is the biggest purchase of your lifetime. Take your time, sign with confidence, and then go enjoy your new home. Now, I know that we have gone over a lot of things in these videos. Just know that if you have a real estate professional that you vetted, the process should be a lot easier. Now, if you are looking at buying a home, especially in the San Antonio area, please feel free to contact me. I'd love to help you achieve your real estate goals. If you want to buy a house but aren't sure where to start looking for a real estate professional, let me know. I can actually help you vet some of them and give you a list of people that's passed my sniff test, if you will. I appreciate you watching this series and for subscribing to my channel. There will be more information coming out that you will find handy as a home buyer, plus everything that I've already put out before. I wish you the best in your house hunting process, and you find the home of your dreams and can build a lifetime of memories there.